So you'll probably still see veterans, armored frag cannons tearing up the field in the Corvus and launching at enemy targets. However, as we move on now, I think you're going to see a lot more of the Primaris in the Deathwatch army. The reason for this is these are essentially Primaris kill teams. You can form mixed kill teams with the different Primaris units, which is really nice. So your intercessors will cost 19 points a model. So 2 points more than the Deathwatch veteran. And for those 2 points, not only are you getting an extra wound, which itself would be worth it, you're also getting to use the bolt rifle, which gives you an extra 6-inch range over the bolter and an extra -1 AP. So with your special issue ammunition, you can get bolter rounds that are -3 AP or -2 AP that can shoot up to 36 inches, or they're wounding on 2+ with -1 AP. And as I said before, the cover shells, I think they're the Dragonfire shells, you get +1 to hit against enemy units in cover, but the bolt rifle also gives you -1 to hit. So, sorry, -1 AP, so you're effectively ignoring the cover. Now I just need to check here on the intercessors. As I said, I think the intercessors now actually 20 points, because they come with a bolt rifle and a bolt pistol, which cost a point each. So that takes them up to 20 points a model. So still pretty strong, I think. Let's just check that out. I think the bolt rifle adds a point. It does, and the bolt pistol adds a point, so that takes them up in cost to 20 points per model. So 3 points more than a veteran, which is, I think, still pretty worth it. The only problem with the intercessors is the mobility issues. The only transport option they can take is the repulsor, which is strong, but very expensive. You can take, as I say, you can take a mixed kill team. So what this allows you to do is, if you take an Inceptor, these are similar to the Vanguard veterans, you can fall back and still shoot, as if you had the fly keyword. You can take aggressors, and this allows you to not suffer any penalty to hit rolls for advancing and firing assault weapons, or for moving and firing heavy weapons. So this could be useful in some combinations. So I think intercessors, really strong for Deathwatch, or Primaris kill teams, really strong for Deathwatch. I actually picked up a box of intercessors so that I could add some to my Deathwatch army. I think I'll probably be running 2 units of 5 and use them as backfield objective holders. They don't really need to move far, and they can get the extra range thanks to their bolt rifle and the special issue ammunition. And with 2 wounds each, they'll be a bit more durable than the standard Deathwatch. So I think these are going to be really strong. One nice bonus is we can now take an apothecary in the army. Only the Primaris apothecary for some reason. We're not allowed to take a normal apothecary. So that's nice. I think I might add one to, again, help keep my backfield objective holders safe. One of the issues of the Deathwatch is their poor durability. So anything that can heal models or bring them back will be quite nice. Maybe I'll stick with a unit and help keep them healed. So I think that's a good addition. You can also take, as your elites, the Venerable Dreadnought, or the Redemptor Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts aren't terrible in 8th. They're not amazing, but they're not terrible. So it's nice to be able to have them. Yeah, it's nice to have them, but I wouldn't say they're essential in the army. They're just decent enough. Terminators. Terminators aren't great in 8th edition, it must be said. I think most people will know that. One of the benefits of the Deathwatch is they now get access to special issue ammunition with their Stormbolters. So with deep striking in a unit of 5 Terminators, you get 20 Stormbolter shots at rapid fire range, and you can use your special issue ammunition. So I think that's quite a nice bonus. Another nice thing about the Deathwatch Terminators is that any model can replace their Power Fist with an item from the Terminator melee list. So this means you can replace your Power Fist with a Power Sword. One of the reasons you might do this is it makes it cheaper. So a Terminator with a Power Sword and a Stormbolter is only 39 points. So you could take a unit of 5 armed like that for under 200 points, which isn't amazing, but isn't terrible. As much as I like the Power Fist, the -1 to hit really... You wouldn't think it would make a big difference, but it really does in games. The -1 to hit is brutal at times when you seem to just keep rolling 3s. So actually going for a Power Sword, you're likely to get more attacks. Not as strong, but it does help make your unit cheaper, which is nice. And the other bonus is the Terminators automatically pass morale tests. So you could field bigger units if you wish, and you don't have to worry about morale. So a full unit of 10 with 40 special issue ammunition shots. It's expensive, but it could do a lot of damage. Next up, we can take more Primaris units, more Reavers. What's nice about this is these units can get around some of the mobility issues of the Primaris Marines because they can deploy via grav shoots or grapnel launchers, so they can essentially deep strike if they want. And they do get special issue ammunition on their bolt carbines. So Assault 2 24-inch shots with special ammunition, pretty good. I think they would be useful in the Deathwatch. Aggressors, again, could be useful in the Deathwatch. Let's see if they get access to the special issue ammunition. They don't, I believe. No, they don't. So you won't get to use special issue ammunition with them. Vanguard Veterans, again, pretty useful unit. I use them sometimes for grabbing objectives. They're not bad. Bikers. Bikers are one of the great units of the Deathwatch. They got even better, and they've dropped from 36 points in the index to 29. So they've gone down 7 points each. They can use twin bolters with special issue ammunition. So really strong, really powerful if you get in rapid fire range. What's even better is that the Sergeant can now take equipment. The Sergeant can take a Stormbolter to give him 4 more shots at rapid fire range for only, well, for 4 points, which I think is a bonus. And now any biker can take a chainsword or a power weapon. So getting an extra attack per veteran for no points, or getting cheap power weapons on the entire unit if you wish. You probably won't do most of the time because, as I say, you don't want them in combat, but could be useful every once in a while for finishing off a unit. So I think you're going to see a lot of Deathwatch bikers. They're very strong. Inceptors, Hellblasters are the same as the Space Marines. Quite useful. Hellblasters are really strong, but quite expensive. So you might see them in the army. You might see them in kill teams as well, where you can move and ignore the penalty for heavy weapons. So they could be really strong. Land Raiders, quite tough, quite powerful. You don't often see them, but they are strong. You've got your transport options, Rhinos, Razorbacks, good for keeping your units safe. Drop pods, which I don't think you'll see as often now, thanks to the Teleportarium stratagem. They're not too bad. I think, but I don't think you don't see drop pods in 8th edition anymore. It's very rare. Repulsor, strong tank, but really expensive. It's pretty much a flying land raider, so it's really tough to take out. It has the fly keyword, so it can still fall back and shoot from combat, which is one of the big downsides of the land raider, is that it's really easy to tie it up and negate its firepower. So it's a nice way for transporting Primaris Marines. Now, Corvus Blackstar. This is a unit. I love the model. Really love the model. Think it's fantastic flyer, as you can see there. Every time I field it, it just gets blown out of the sky on turn 1. And it really does anything. It's not too bad. It's dropped 10 points for its basic loadout. So it's gone from 219 to 209. That's just with the Twin Assault Cannon and the Blackstar Rocket Launcher. I think if you're going to take it, you probably want to take the Blackstar Rocket Launcher. I think it's a bit cheaper than the Stormstrike missiles. The biggest problem with the Corvus for me is the lack of power of the Machine Spirit or any form of strafing run to give it +1 to hit. So with the exception of the Hurricane Bolter, all its weapons are heavy, which means if it moves, it's hitting on a 4+. You can give it an Auspex array, which means you reroll hit rolls of 1 against units that don't have the fly keyword. I've seen a lot of previews and a lot of battle reports for the Deathwatch saying that the Auspex array gives you +1 to hit. It doesn't in my codex. I don't know. I think that would be a nice bonus because you could get the +1 to hit and you could also get rerolls from a nearby Watchmaster or Watch Captain. But in my codex, it's rerolls of 1 to hit. So it is useful, but not great. I think actually the Infernum Halo Launcher is the better choice because I don't see the Corvus as a gunboat. It lacks power of the Machine Spirit. It doesn't have a huge amount of firepower. I would rather reroll saving throws of 1 while it's in supersonic mode. This will help keep it alive for longer to deliver your veterans to the enemy army. So the Infernum Halo Launcher would be my choice in most cases. What is unusual is that under the War Gear section for the Infernum Halo Launcher, it still has the old rules written, which is that when an enemy model with fly targets the Corvus Blackstar, they suffer -1 to hit. This used to be the rules for the Infernum Halo Launcher, but they changed it for the now rerolls saving throws of 1. I'm going to assume that you still use the reroll saving throws of 1, rather than the old rule, which is -1 to hit against units that have fly keyword. But to me, that's a bit odd that they'd miss an error such as that. That's a bit of a lack of proofreading to let that go through. If you get both abilities, fantastic. But I don't think that's the case. I think you'll only get the reroll saving throws to 1. So the Corvus can take a twin las cannon and it can take 2 Stormstrike missiles. Generally, I wouldn't. I think only having 4 shots, hitting on 4-ups. 1, it makes the Corvus Blackstar too expensive. 2, it lacks power of the Machine Spirit, so your accuracy is not as good. If you want twin las cannons, take a Razorback and set it in place so you don't have to move and you're hitting on 3s. You might even get rerolls from a nearby Captain or Watchmaster. I wouldn't bother. The Stormstrike missiles, again, I'd rather have the 2d6 shots from the Blackstar rocket launcher rather than 2 single shots, which are powerful, but again, you might not miss. Plus, you get +1 to hit for targets that can fly. So that has you again hitting on a 3+ in some cases, or a 4+ if they are some sort of flyer, giving you another -1 to hit. You also get +1 to hit against units in cover, so that's quite nice. If you want to shoot them, you'll be hitting on 3s and re-rolling hit rolls of 1, assuming the unit can't fly if they're on cover. So, Corvus Blackstar, I think it's more of a troop transport. It's for getting your frag cannon kill teams up to the enemy unit quickly, or getting your combat kill teams up to the enemy army and attacking them. I don't really see it as a gunboat. It simply doesn't have the volume of fire or the accuracy of fire to do well in that. Not bad, 14 wounds, toughness 7. It's fairly durable, I think, with the Infernum Halo Launcher. But from experience, if your opponent really wants to take the Corvus out, it's going to be pretty easy for them in the first or second turn. I rarely have one survive past turn 2. But it's a nice model, and it soaks up a lot of firepower from the rest of your army. So, looking at that, overall, reasonably happy with the Deathwatch Codex. I would have liked to have seen the Deathwatch veterans get a bit of a boost. They're still quite expensive for being basic Marines. The special issue ammunition is really nice, but when you look at the points difference, only 3 points more for a Primaris Marine with an extra wound, extra range on the gun, extra -1 AP. The veterans seem to have got the short end of the stick. I think you will see them because they're the only way to take the frag cannon and the Deathwatch shotguns. But it would have been nice to see them get something else. Now that the Primaris have access to special issue ammunition, they are pretty much the default choice, I'd say. The only benefit is as I said, the veterans can get more transport options. Some of the stratagems they've access to, really nice. I think there's some powerful ones. When I was talking before about what I hope to see for the Codex, I predicted that they would get some sort of deep strike ability, the Teleportarium, which they have, which is really nice. This essentially allows you to do, as they did in 7th edition, to teleport with kill teams. This will probably, in 8th edition, I've been avoiding mixed kill teams simply because they lack the transport options if you add a Vanguard veteran, a biker, or a Terminator to them. I think with the Teleportarium, I'll probably include a Vanguard veteran in a lot of units. You can't use the auto hits on the frag cannon when they deep strike in, but it's still going to be pretty useful to get them close to the enemy without having to run a Corvus Blackstar, and the ability to still fall back. What's also nice is I believe the Teleportarium can be used on Primaris units. Let's just double check that now. Yep, it just says Deathwatch Infantry or Deathwatch Dreadnought. So that's a really nice way to get your Primaris units up the field and stop their mobility issues. So a unit of Hellblasters that can deep strike anywhere within 9 inches of the enemy is really strong. You can keep them safe. You can then come in and rapid fire their plasma incinerators. What's nice about that is because they're rapid fire 15 inches, you can deploy them outside the 12-inch range for these Auspex scan type stratagems where they can be safe from enemy firepower and still get to rapid fire. Same with your intercessors who have 30-inch range. They'll get to drop in and rapid fire, and you can even keep them safe from enemy retaliation before they can shoot. So I think that's going to be really strong for your Primaris units and your Primaris kill teams. You can get your aggressors or your Hellblasters right up the field quite easily. You will need to watch out for power levels with the new beta rules, but you know that's the same for every army, and there's a lot you can field. I'm looking forward to trying out my Primaris Marines. My Deathwatch Marines and my Primaris Deathwatch. I think what I'm going to try and do initially is to field them as a couple of battalions, going for like 6 of the various kill teams as much as I can. because I really think this is an army that will benefit from a lot of command points. So 2 battalions will give me 13 command points, and that'll allow me to do a lot with all the various stratagems, as well as being able to recover stratagems on a 5+. I think that's going to be a really strong way to run the army. So I've actually got a game coming up on Monday. So I need to have a look at the Codex and figure out a 2,000 points list. And I'll be bringing that, as I say, from my blog, St. Andrew's Wargaming, where I do written battle reports with old school White Dwarf maps, plenty of photos, and after battle analyses to see what I could have improved about the game or what things worked. So I'm going to sit and come up with an army that I can field on Monday for my first go with the Deathwatch. Going to try and bring a lot of toys. I think I might even try a Terminator unit. Even though I'll need to arm them with power fists, because that's how they're armed. I do like running WYSIWYG. I think it just makes things easier. So I think I'll probably try the Corvus, a few kill teams. Don't think I'll get the Primaris kill team. Don't think I'm going to get them ready this weekend. So again, I don't like fielding unpainted models a lot. So I think I'll take just the basic kill team, see how they perform, and I'll try and get the Primaris Marines painted up quickly and fielded. So I hope you enjoyed that review. I hope it was useful. As I said, this was sort of my first attempt at a video for the blog. I'm going to probably try some more in the future. Don't worry, I'm still going to do all my written battle reports and my written Codex reviews. But if this is something you enjoyed, please let me know in the comments. If there are any improvements you can think of or anything you would like to see in a video, please let me know in the comments and I'll try and accommodate them. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.